那么接下来呢，同样也是 National Instruments NI，我们要欢迎的是 Michael Tang，他是 Business Development Manager of Production Test。他所要演讲的题目呢是有关于 Standardized ECU Test Platform in Production 线上预录的 Michael Tang VCR。
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me here online today on the MIH Industry Seminar. I am Michael Tang, BDM on Transportation Production Test at NI Shanghai. It's my honor today to share with you on the standardization ECU test platform in production. Thank you.
The agenda for today will be on ECU production test overview, test challenges, NI production test solution, on ECU test system for the system architecture, software workflow, and servicing and support. Lastly will be example use case on ECU TS reference application and ECU TS demo video. Let's touch on the ECU production test challenges. Electrification of automotive and global competition have been adding complexity on your device under test and compressing test time to reduce cost and time to market. With limited number of engineers, in most projects, there is a typical schedule drawn up at the beginning of the project that looks something like the figure bottom right. The most important thing is to note that that's typical. There is a hard deadline to the launch date, your customer need date, your CEO must do date. What makes test challenging is that it's often perceived as the place where time to cost or people can be squeezed out of the process to help meet others' metrics. This increases the perceptions that test is more a cost-adding function than a profit generator. This is a trend that has been around for years and never seems to change. So in reality, test is necessary and is not becoming easier. But we need to drive result and support new product. Introduction process to meet schedule. How can we minimize time it takes to develop a tester, deliver tester, and deploy tester in productions? Blocks to a complete test system. As you can see on the first diagram is a PXI-based ATE, where this is a DIY tester. On this part, customer has to do 80% of the work themselves, from test development up to rack safety, display, and power selection. And NI will only deliver 20% based on PXI, low power switching, and instrument. On the ECU TS base, we have reduced the amount of work for customer to 20%, and customer only has to do test development, system completion, DUT customization, and ITA official. The other 80% will be delivered by ECU TS platform, as you can see on this portion here. For the custom system, NI or a partner will deliver 100% of the system based on customer product test specification. The advantage of ECU test system is combined standardization benefit with high flexibility. The ECU TS architecture is designed to provide you with core production test configuration that can be expanded with additional hardware options as needed to help achieve maximum throughput and time to market in production and test applications. ECU TS test system is designed on a standardized yet flexible test architecture. As we have touched earlier, ECU TS platform provide 80% of the tester development to customer, and customer only has to do the 20% of the work, as you could see here. And this 20% of the work could also provide by NI services or NI partner. Let's check on the ECU production test process. As we can see on the front line, there's a loader, screen printer, solder paste inspection, SMD placement, before oven, optical inspection, and loader. On the back end line, there's a fresh or in ICT, pin check, burn in, and functional test. Example for ECU TS production line application, we could use in flashing, burn in, final function test, and end of line testing. We leverage our ecosystem and cross-industrial expertise and continue investing in systems like automotive ECU test system. It is based on NI platform and is provide a high starting point to develop production test system for powertrain, body and chassis, and EV. With up to 40% faster development time, it also provide true parallel testing capabilities for 2 ECU with up to 480 test points each, reducing the test time up to 40%, faster test time. Since NI deliver this globally, we optimize this production to deliver it to you anywhere in the world within 12 weeks after receipt of order. ECU TS improves standardization and also simplified maintenance. On the second section, let's look at the system architecture. This slide shows the architecture overview of ECU TS. On the software portion, we have enterprise data and system management software, test management software, test module, programming software, instrumentation driver. On the hardware portion, we have computing, time and synchronization, test integration, instrumentation, monitoring, control. And on the last portion, we have fixture and mesh interconnect. This slide shows the ECU TS component that we could use to build on ECU TS. As you can see, there's components in communication, instrumentation, load or pin switch. For the rack, currently we have two types. One is 24U and 40U. As for the 16U rack, will be released in 2023. ECU software, we have Test 10, Instrument Studio, Switch Executive, and Maintenance Software, and FDT. This is a 24U ECU TS test rack. As we could see, the component include pin switch, communication bus, instrumentation, up to external load and E-load is carefully designed and laid out on the desired location. This is to fulfill the thermal requirement and certification. The difference between 24U and 40U test rack is the 40U test rack has an additional compartment for PXI and SLSC. As we could see here, this is the mesh intercon which connect to the DUT. There are several topology options you can select for testing DUTs in parallel based on your desired throughput, DUT complexity, and budget requirement. We could have 4 nests with 2 DUT each, 4 nests with 1 DUT each, or 2 nests with 2 DUT each. ECU TS could reduce up to 40% of test time with parallel device testing with the flexibility of test stand ability. We could have sequential, pipeline, and auto schedule This is the location of mesh interconnect on ECU TS. The below is the exploded view of the mesh interconnect from Virginia Panel Corporation. The mesh interconnect comes with 25 slots, 30% reduced handling force and lightweight. For rapid changeover, it could use on front and rear mount enclosure. As you could see here, this is a tray which is optional. This is the mesh interconnect receiver arrangement. This is used to standardize the mesh interconnect in ECU TS for 24U and 40U. There's a 12 SLSC slot and other slot connect to power supply, load, etc. There's 5 open slots for second level integration, and the other branch slot is for future expansion. Simplified maintenance with Field Diagnostic Tester, FDT. The FDT is a hardware unit used in system to ensure all the instrument signals are transmitted properly to the mesh interconnect and all cables are in place. FDT primarily performs continuity testing to the mesh termination. With this, the ECU test system maintenance software provides a report of components expected in the system and perform a continuity check. We could see the photo of this FDT here and how it is mounted into the ECU TS. ECU Test System Maintenance Software, an application that you can use to monitor and perform certain kind of maintenance on system components of ECU test system to execute continuity tests using the field diagnostic tester that we saw earlier in the previous slide. In the event of reset or cell test system, ECU TS maintenance software could adjust the measurement performance of instrument and subsystem by self-calibrating the system instruments, get calibration and temperature information from the system component. It could generate a report to store in the system status and aid support and troubleshoot effects. ECU test system is a high-performance system which has certification from European Derivatives, EMC, Safety, and Environmental Affairs. Currently, there's 2 models on ECU test system. ECU TS 16000 is the 24U model, and ECU TS 16001 is the 40U model. Let's check on the ECU TS 24U rack features. The 24U ECU TS is 1358 mm in height. The depth is 800 mm and the width is 584 mm. The ECU TS has a color code of IAL 7035, come in gray color, and is ESD compliant. The input power is single phase 200 to 240 volt 60 amp. The power distribution unit on DC output is 12 volt and 24 volt. The power supply is configurable up to maximum output of 1200 watt. On the 40U ECU test system, the difference between 24U and 40U is the height. The height is for 40U is 2068 mm. With this increase in height, it actually has an additional compartment for PXI and SLSC. And on the power supply, the maximum output is up to 1500 watt. Let's look at the next section on the software workflow for ECU TS. ECU Test System Software Suite. This is the various software that we are using for test plan implementation, enterprise data, and system management. On the test plan implementation, we have interactive debugging, test module development, signal route management and configuration. For the enterprise data and system management, we have ECU test system maintenance and manufacturing execution system. The test stand ECU toolkit is to control instrument in test stand based on configuration defined in Instrument Studio. Debug instrument using Instrument Studio while running a test sequence in test stand. And support ECU test system instrument. For the test application development environment, we are using LabVIEW, LabWindow, Python, and C++. Test stand is a ready-to-run management software that is designed to help you develop automated test and validation system faster. You can use test stand to develop, execute, and deploy test system software. In addition, you can develop test sequence that integrate code modules written in any testing program language. Sequences also specify execution flow, reporting, database logging, and connectivity to other enterprise systems. Finally, you can deploy test systems to production with easy-to-use operator interface, which can be developed into LabVIEW. The next section lets us touch on the services and support. Services and support to accelerate your productivity. On ECUTS services and support, we have guaranteed two functionality, guide path to success, reduce long-term operation costs, maximize uptime, achieve application longevity. Customer success is our only success. With extensive services and support and partner network for ECUTS, we have customer training, hardware services, integration services, NI partner network, consulting services, and technical support.
Operate phase for ECU test system is up to 15 years. During the long run, we need to ensure the production is running smoothly. Any downtime will transmit to lost revenue. We have robust process for maintaining tester, preventing maintenance repair tester before crisis happen. We have the right services, for example, operator training, software update, spare part management, maintenance and calibration. And last of all is the obsolete management to ensure that during the long run, we have the right spare part for the uptimes.
Improve uptime in production environment. With uptime being important to your application, I would like to make you aware of some service options NI can provide to help you reduce any unplanned downtime. On the advanced replacement option, NI express shipment a spare from NI service center to you within 5 days. If you are looking at reduce the downtime faster, there's a 24-hour spare options. NI Express ship a dedicated spare from a local inventory, so you are up and running within 24 hours. And you have inventory on site. There's an on-site spare option. NI can provide spare on site for spare management in place. Service include with ECUTS purchase. ECUTS is covered 1-year basis service program, and it can be extended to multiple years. It's also include with the first tester at each new site, on-site or remote bring up and installation, safety and maintenance training. This is a system tag that we could see on each ECU test system. This is to maintain a single source of truth, minimize delay, and simplify logistics. As you can see, there's a CE mark and conforms to UL standard on this label. The next section is the ECU Reference Application. Electronic Control Unit. We call it ECU. An ECU is a device responsible for overseeing, regulating, and alternate operation of a vehicle electronic system. Each of a car electronic features such as anti-lock braking system or electronic fuel injection setup will typically be controlled by an ECU. There's a lot of ECU in a car, as you can see in the picture here. Device under test for ECU TS. There are many types of ECU TS, including but not limited to door control unit, engine control unit, electric power steering control unit, powertrain control modules, seat control unit, speed control unit, transmission control unit, brake control modules, traction inverter, and battery management system. Let us look at the seat control test system for 3 NAS configuration. Customer provide us their requirement, and I study the detail and put into the ECUTS configurator. In here, you can see that there's a PXI, XL, SC, and MES intercon layout from the ECUTS configurator. ITA fixture could be delivered by NI, or this work would be provided by customer system integrator. The lead time of the ECUTS is around 12 weeks upon receipt of order. We have come to the last portion of the ECUTS introduction. I'd like to show the ECUTS demo video.
Hi, I'm Celine, an engineer at NI, here to show you our new ECU test system. This is a pre-configured automotive test system specifically for testing end-of-line and functional tests of automotive ECUs and powertrain and body and chassis with mid-complexity ECUs. And so it's a pre-configured test system designed to save you on development time. So it comes pre-integrated with all of the core hardware components we need in the rack. That's a PXI chassis for I/O and communication, SLC for signal conditioning and load management and e-loads, and also a Virginia panel max interconnect. And so all of that's pre-configured. You don't have to spend time doing that. You can spend time on what differentiates you, whether that's building the test fixture or writing the test sequence or getting your integrator of choice to do that. Another awesome thing about this is because it's powered by PXI and test stand, we can do parallel testing. And so what you see here is I have 2 devices I'm testing in parallel. That's 2 engine control units. And so we're going to be testing them, and there's some fault insertion we're doing in software, so it's kind of randomized whether or not they'll pass or fail, which is what I'll demonstrate for you here today. In software, we're running test in test stand, and then we're using Instrument Studio to configure and manage those tests, Switch Executive to do that signal routing, and then LabVIEW as our application development environment that you can use the application development environment of your choice. So let's get started. So I'll start the test sequence. And you can see it running, and again, so I'm using our power supply, our mixed power supply to power the units. That's going through the SLC FIU module. I'm reading the 5-volt signal that we're expecting out. It's going through some switch matrix and then being read with the SQ. So that's kind of what's happening on the hardware side. And then if we look at our results, so you can see here that our test failed overall, which means one or both steps failed. Let's hear like that 0 failed because it was getting this much slower signal than the 5 volts we were expecting. And that 2 also failed because, again, outside of these test parameters we defined. Again, as you can see, those are tested in parallel, which is exciting. We're showing 2 ducts in parallel here, but based on your pin count and requirements, you can test up to 4 nets, 8 ducts in parallel with this test system. For more information on test system specifications and the details of the hardware inside, visit ni.com/ECUTS.
Thank you for viewing Standardization ECU Test Platform in production. We have come to an end. This is the Q&A section. Please feel free to drop me an email at michael.tang@ni.com. Have a nice day. See you.